Hi there, this is Gerard Welbrock, and you're tuned in to Tiger Talk. We're going to talk some women's basketball with head coach Tony Hobson and men's hoops with Mark Johnson. It's all coming up right after this on Tiger Talk.
At Eagle Communications, we're proud to provide the communication services you need to get the most from today's technology. Our employee owners make it happen. We're part of your community, and we take pride in delivering excellent customer service. If you ever have a question, give us a call. We're here to help. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Hello again, and welcome to Tiger Talk. Gerard Welbrock with you for the next half hour or so as we talk a little Fort Hays State men's and women's basketball. Both teams at home this past week, and both getting a pair of wins Thursday night over the Riverhawks of Northeastern State. Then Saturday afternoon, a couple of nice wins. Overtime for the women and a hot shooting game for the men, knocking out the Broncos of Central Oklahoma. And, of course, on the ladies' side, sets up a big showdown for first place against Missouri Western Thursday night in St. Joseph against the first-place Griffins, who are still undefeated. We'll get into all of that and a whole lot more as the program rolls along. As always, it's brought to you by the great folks at the Golden Corral, just north of the interstate in Hays. Open 7 days a week. It's the Golden Corral, best buffet in the USA. We'll take our first break. When we come back, head women's coach Tony Hobson will join us, and we'll get to that next right here on Tiger Talk. Hello again, and welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Welbrock, joined now by head women's coach Tony Hobson. The Tigers getting a couple of big wins this past week, knocking off Northeastern State on Thursday, and then needed overtime to get by the Broncos, a very good Central Oklahoma team, but got the job done to stay a game back of first place, setting up a big showdown Thursday night at Missouri Western, which we'll obviously delve into as the program moves along. But first things first, this past Thursday, Northeastern State coming to town, and your gals handled it well. A good solid win for your team to kick off a brief, quick two-game homestand.
Well, it was, and I thought we approached that game how we needed to, just kind of businesslike, and we, we got out to a good lead, and we just kind of maintained it throughout the game. And I thought our focus was good, considering the possibility of overlooking them, because they haven't been quite as successful as they have in the past. So you have to be real careful of games like that, especially those Thursday afternoon, late afternoon games. Sometimes the crowd's a little late rolling in there, and we had a good crowd, but you know what I mean. Yeah. It's just it's not quite the same as a Saturday crowd that's there from the beginning. So I thought our kids focused fairly well and did what we needed to do on that particular game.
Well, you only had 6 turnovers, which you're one of the, in fact, lead the country in fewest turnovers, but that had crept up to 12 a game, which is still very good. But for this team, that's a high number. Good to see them kind of rein that back in, and obviously that's a big key, because you force a lot and you don't have many, and that's always a great combination.
Well, it is, and without it, we probably would have 4 or 5 more losses without that differential, because it gives us usually anywhere from 8 to 15 more possessions a game, and we need every one of them the way we've been shooting the basketball. So I thought just observing the game from the bench, as I always do, I thought we probably had 13, 14 turnovers against Northeastern. The ones we had must have been bad ones, but when I looked at and saw 6, I was a little surprised. I thought we probably had a couple more than that.
Talk about the defense, because we talked a little bit on the program last week. Northeastern is a hard team to prepare for, a lot of movement, a lot of picks. I mean, they really make you work. They don't score a lot of points because they work that shot clock down and try to get baskets late. It seemed like you did a pretty good job of preventing that, and for the most part held them in check in that regard.
Well, we just always emphasize just playing for the whole clock. I mean, 30 seconds worth of defense, because in the past you know, we'll play good for 25 seconds and then not close out on a shooter or just relax a second, and they end up with a good shot at the end of the clock. And I thought our concentration level was good enough Monday that we were able to just sustain that defense for a good period of time. And then, you know, when we forced 19 turnovers, so there's 19 times where we didn't have to guard for the whole clock, and that's also important. So, you know, they just set a lot of screens. They run a lot of curl screens, fade screens, different types of things that sometimes we don't see from other teams. So our biggest deal right now is we're not communicating all the time defensively, so we're not on the same page as we're out on the floor. And that's just really important for a good defensive team.
Well, you certainly needed that good defense on Saturday. Central Oklahoma, the opponent, took it overtime, but the Tigers get it done 59-56. And in this game, they came out scorching. They hit, I think, 6 of their first 7 threes. Fortunately, just 2 of 18 the rest of the way, but that got them off to a big start, up 14 midway through the third. And you had a little stretch there. You got it down to 3, and then it was a game on, and you found a way to win in overtime. But a good opponent, and, boy, it was a really exciting game, and one that your gals fought hard to win.
Well, I don't know why we got off to a poor start defensively. I mean, we were, I thought, prepared to contest and really guard out on the three-point line, but I don't know. They got around a couple screens. They got to the basket, so we got caught helping off when we probably shouldn't have, and they kicked it out and hit some threes. So that got us kind of got us on our heels, and we were there for a good portion of the game. And in fact, you know, sometimes, you know, I sat fairly close to where you're announcing, and I just caught one statement of yours during a quiet time in the game, and that was, you know, about 5 minutes left in the third quarter, and I think we were down 14, and you said this is either going to be a disappointing home loss or a comeback for the ages or something like that. So. So I don't know. It was just a disjointed game. We could not get anything to go in the basket, and anytime you can hold a team like that to 3 baskets in the second half is remarkable. But you know, that's what it's come to right now. The way we're offensively struggling so bad is that we've got to limit a team to 3 baskets just to get to overtime at home, and that's not a good thing. We have to be better. Not only executing-wise on offense, we just have to shoot the ball better.
Yeah, 25% for the game, but you're down 14, then you cut it to 12, and you had a huge possession, a 6-point possession. Got a 3-pointer from Jill Faxon, foul away from the ball. She gets a 3 on that possession, and then I think came down the next time you had the ball, hit another 3, and all of a sudden it's a 3-point game, then you're back in it, but you had that little explosion, really kind of the key and turned that game around.
Well, we had like you said, about a 3-minute period where we went on a 10 or 11-0 run, and the big part of that was Jill finally hitting some threes. And once we got it within striking distance, then we really buckled down, I thought, and got even tougher on D, and got it to overtime after, you know, just all kinds of. I mean, we looked at that clock, or the officials looked at the clock, I'll bet, in the second half, and overtime, I'll bet they looked at it for over 10 minutes, you know, and just brings the atmosphere and the momentum and everything to a screeching halt when they take 5 minutes to identify who a foul was on, you know, and I knew who it was. It's usually the person that barrels through the screen and is on the ground. You know, that's a good sign that the foul was on them. They couldn't see who it was for sure on the film. They gave a number that wasn't in the game, and as a result, we have a stoppage of play that I thought was unnecessary. And I thought, you know, wow, this is really going to kill our momentum. Didn't hurt because we hit a 3 right after that, but still, it was a little spurt that we just kind of live for those right now, where we just kind of hang in there, and our defense and turnovers kind of hold us in there, and then we wait for lightning to strike, is what we call it, and this time it was Jill who hit a few shots to kind of give us a a little boost.
Carried Fort Hays with the overtime win. They're going to need a lot of lightning to strike on Thursday. Big showdown with the very, very good and undefeated Missouri Western Griffins. We'll talk all about that when we return. Tiger Talk presented by the Golden Corral Buffet and Grill, just north of the interstate. Open 7 days a week. It's the Golden Corral, best buffet in the USA, and we're back right after this.
They're growing up and getting busier. Between school, sports, dance, sleepovers, you want to make sure they can always reach you when they need to. Nextech Wireless has the perfect cell phone starter plan. For only $40 per month, it includes unlimited data, calling, and texting. There are no contracts or overages, so they can call, text, YouTube, and stream all they want. Plus, smartphones start at just $150. Certain restrictions apply. Get the $40 WOW Unlimited plan at Nextech Wireless.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk, presented by the Golden Corral Buffet and Grill. They're open 7 days a week just north of the interstate in Hays. Best buffet in the USA, joined by women's coach Tony Hobson. The Tigers, a game out of first in the MIAA, and they're going to face the team that's ahead of them, Missouri Western, on Thursday night. The Griffins undefeated, big road win at Emporia State Saturday afternoon. Obviously a great team. Right now they're the team to beat. They haven't lost yet in conference play, and boy, offensively, they're scary. You look at the numbers, they're at the top of about every offensive category in the MIAA.
Well, offensively, top to bottom, they're easily the best team in the conference, and they're going to be really hard to stop. And then there's a couple kids you probably can't stop. So we just have to make them work for what they get, and not give them any easy ones in transition, because they like to get it out and run. They've got the best offensive player in the conference. A couple good shooters. Their point guard is very solid. Their post play is good, not only on the interior, but they will shoot the three also. So we'll have our hands full, and we're going to have to play at a little higher level than we have been to stay in that game.
Right, one of those games, obviously you need to play that great defense like you had and do all the things you've been doing, but you got to hit some shots. You got to shoot a better percentage, and sometimes basketball can be a simple game. If you put the ball in the hole, you got a chance, and it seems like when this team does that, obviously things come a little bit easier.
Well, maybe we are just saving up some of those makes, because we know we're going to need them. But yeah, I didn't think our shot selection was great, but I thought the beginning of the game it was okay, and then as we missed some shots, then our shot selection got questionable. We were taking quicker shots than we needed to, and it should be the other way around. When you can't hit anything, then you should execute and run your pattern a little more and get better shots. But sometimes we gravitate the other direction. So, our opponent is going to be a tough one. It's going to be another top 10 game for us. I mean, we've played a bunch of those where we've been rated in the top 10, and our opponent has in the last year. We've had 5 or 6 or 7 of those, and they've all been good games. So hopefully we'll be able to show up, and on the road they'll be ready to roll, and should be a good game.
Well, and you've said it before, this team takes care of business, but in the games where the lights are the brightest, they do seem to bring their best. And I guess if you can take care of the business in the other games and then you play your best in the big games, that's not a bad thing.
Well, I know our kids will be excited and they'll play hard. It's just a matter of whether we have enough physical talent to compete with them. I'm not going to say we can't, because these guys have proved my thoughts wrong several times, my team. So I think quickness-wise we can match up. Size-wise we're going to have a little struggle. They have a 6-foot guard that is just dynamite, and it's going to be a matchup problem for us, because probably going to have somebody like Taylor Chandler guarding her a lot of the game, and hopefully we can keep her out of the lane and give her a little help if she tries to get posted. But just at all positions we're going to be challenged defensively.
Should be a fun one. Thursday night, 5:30 tip from the Missouri Western Fieldhouse. Fort Hays State and Missouri Western in the top 10 showdown, and for first place in the MIAA. Tony, we appreciate the time as always. Have a great week of practice, and we'll see you in St. Joseph on Thursday.
Okay, thanks, Gerard.
That's Coach Tony Hobson of the Tiger women taking on Missouri Western Thursday night at 5:30, and then Saturday afternoon in Maryville to close out the weekend against Northwest Missouri State. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk some men's basketball as Coach Mark Johnson joins us. Tiger Talk presented by the Golden Corral, best buffet in the USA, and we're back right after this.
BOS Motorsports in Hayes introduces the top off-road vehicle lineup with Polaris. The world leader in off-road innovation presents the Razor, Ranger, Sportsman, and Ace off-road vehicles right here in the heartland of BOS Motorsports in Hayes. Whether you're looking for something for the trail, the farm, the oil patch, the hunt, BOS has the ride just for you. Stop in today and ride away with yours. At BOS, customer service is number one. Our in-house parts and service department will take care of you before, during, and after the sale. BOS Motorsports just north of I-70 at exit 159 in Hayes.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk, brought to you by the Golden Corral, just north of the interstate in Hayes. Best buffet in the USA, and of course you can enjoy their sunrise breakfast any day of the week at the Golden Corral. Best buffet in the USA. Tiger men, couple of much-needed home wins this past week. Knocked off Northeastern State on Thursday, and then Saturday, a nice victory over Central Oklahoma. And the Tigers right now in a three-way tie for third place in a crazy, crazy year in the MIAA. And we talked about it on the program last week. Two very important games coming home, and your team responded, got two big wins.
Yeah, we had to win. Well, we had to win these games. The MIAA, it's very hard to win any games on the road. You look at it for this week, we got three straight away from home. So needed to play well, thought we did. We shot the ball well, especially on Saturday, and played defense just well enough to be successful.
Northeastern had a nice first half. You scored 45 points, and then they outscore you in the second half, but you do enough in that game down the stretch to keep them at bay. They really gave you a good battle, which you knew they would, but your team found a way to keep them at bay to get the win.
Yeah, we thought going to the game, one thing I liked about their team, I thought they're athletic and I thought they were scrappy. Those guys aren't going to go away. I thought we played a really good first half, played well on both ends of the floor. Second half, not quite as well. They kept coming at us and we held them off. Probably the only negative, we just turned it over too many times. We had 20 turnovers, which has kind of been a thorn in our side this season, but played fairly well and had a nice lead at halftime.
Well, and then you hit some free throws, and that hasn't always been the case with this team. But both games at home, free throws played a big role of it, and you guys stepped up and made some key ones.
Yeah, we did. You'd think we should be a good, free throw shooting team. You look at our field goal percentage. You look how well we shoot it from three. We should be a good free throw shooting team, and I think that this past weekend showed that we're capable of being able to do that.
And then Saturday, Central Oklahoma, and obviously Rob Davis, a career day, 36 points. He goes 8 of 10 from three. You hit 15 out of 22. It was just one of those games. He hit some early, and it was contagious. It wasn't just him. It was everybody who seemed to get a good look, able to knock him down.
I think that happens, whether it be at the three-point line or at the free throw line. That you get someone early that makes them, it seems like carries over to your team. You miss shots early. It seems like if you have a guy go to the line and miss a couple free throws early in the game, that can carry over and lead to other guys, and you struggle that night. So Rob got us off to a great start. A lot of that had to do with they were not going to let Dom have a big night. Every time he caught the ball, he had a lot of traffic to start the game. He turned it over too much, wasn't recognizing it coming at him. I thought after that initial wave, he did a much better job, and that left Rob open. And really, they kept doing that the whole night, and we were able to find him. He made shots, and then everyone else obviously made some shots too. 15 out of 22 is a pretty impressive night, and Rob's 8 out of 10 and 36 points is one of the better nights in Gross Coliseum that I can remember.
And it was nice because obviously the guys were looking for him. He had the hot hand, but it was within the flow of the offense. He didn't force anything, and really all your 3-point shots I thought were good looks within the flow of the offense.
Yeah, I thought we executed well. I thought we executed our secondary break. I thought our half-court offense, we got good ball movement. Guys were going where they needed to be, and in turn, we got good shots. And I think we're a type of team, if we can get good shots, we're going to make a high percentage of them. They didn't pressure us as much as maybe some other teams, and I think pressure obviously gives us problems. It gives everybody problems, but it really gives us a little bit of an issue at times. We were able to move the ball side to side and got some guys open.
15 turnovers in the game, but only 5 in the second half. And really, I think you had 5 in about a 5 or 6 possession stretch of the first half. Take that away, which you obviously can't, but I thought you did a little bit better job. The number was lower, and when you can keep that around 12 to 13, obviously you've had a lot more success.
Yeah, we always talk to our guys. We want that turnover number to be about between 10 and 12. I think 10 and 12 over the years, it tells you if you're getting more than that, you're being too loose and you're being counterproductive, and it's going to hurt you in the game. If you really have less than 10, then you're probably not trying to make enough plays and you're not being aggressive. So we kind of want to be in between that 10 and 12, and we've just been too many. And I really, like I said, a lot of those came early. A lot of those came from Dom. They were double teaming him, and he just wasn't reading it fast enough and good enough. I think he got better as the game went on, and that allowed some other guys to get some shots.
Greg Nicholson scored 15 in the Northeastern game Thursday, had 13 on Saturday, and getting some good looks in the flow of the offense, something you're obviously going to need here down the stretch, but maybe getting a little bit more comfortable and getting a little bit used to coming back now in better game shape.
Yeah, he was out. His foot's been sore all year, and then he gets hurt, and he hasn't done anything. I really think coming back from Christmas, he looked really good against Pittsburgh State, that first game back. But those other 3 games, he really struggled. I think 4 games in 8 days, his foot just wasn't able to handle that. I think we got a little bit of a break. Hopefully we're back on, 2 games a week. That'll allow him to feel better and move better. And we need that. Part of our turnover problem is he's not out on the floor, or when he's out on the floor in some of those games, he doesn't have quite the bounce, and they're able to trap him. In years past, they would never be able to get to him. So when he's healthy, I think we can handle the ball a little better.
Well, the Tigers get 2 big wins, and now they're, as Mark said, back on the road for the next 3, including 2 this week. Thursday, they'll be in St. Joseph to take on Missouri Western, then Saturday afternoon in Maryville to take on the conference co-leaders, Northwest Missouri State. We'll talk about those 2 matchups when we return. Tiger Talk, again, presented by the Golden Corral, just north of the interstate at Hayes, best buffet in the USA. And we're back with our final segment right after this.
At Eagle Communications, we're proud to provide the communication services you need to get the most from today's technology. Our employee owners make it happen. We're part of your community, and we take pride in delivering excellent customer service. If you ever have a question, give us a call. We're here to help. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. It's our final segment here this evening, brought to you by the Golden Corral, who can cater your next big event, whether it's at the office, an anniversary, a wedding, whatever the case may be. Call Matt at the Golden Corral, 625-4141, about their catering service. Golden Corral, best buffet in the USA. Tigers on the road again this week, Thursday night in St. Joseph against Missouri Western, Saturday afternoon in Maryville, taking on conference co-leader Northwest Missouri State. Let's start with the Griffins, team that record maybe doesn't look that impressive, but as you watch them throughout the season, getting better and better, even in their losses. They've been very competitive games, very big challenge coming up on Thursday night.
Yeah, they just lost a heartbreaker at Emporia. You can't go by anybody's record in the MIAA this year. They've had some close losses, a lot of 1 to 5 point losses. Our league has so much depth. That can happen very, very easily. You look at Washburn's having a very nice year, and they've won most of those close games, so they're over 500. Missouri Western and Washburn's records could be switched, depending on who gets some breaks. So, every game we're going to have to play well. And I think they're playing hard. The guy does a good job. The coach there, they shoot the ball well. Got a couple of big guys inside. We'll need to give a very good effort if we want to win.
And that at times for your program has been a difficult place to play.
Yeah, I would say probably the 2 places we have struggled at probably over the years would be Missouri Western and Central Missouri somewhat. Just for whatever reason we haven't played very well at Missouri Western. And again, those are hard places to play, and they've had good players, and that's going to happen. But this is a big week for us. We got 2 teams, and like I said, we got to be able to win some games in this 3-game stretch. We want to win them all. You take them one at a time, and you try to find a way to win them all. But the main thing is we can't get shut out here. We got to find a way to win some of these games if we want to stay on pace and have a chance with 2 weeks to go to be up there with the conference leaders.
And then on Saturday, Northwest Missouri State, they're the conference co-leaders. They were 1 game away from getting to the Elite Eight a year ago and have maybe the most dynamic player in their point guard Pitts in the conference. Obviously, he's really good, and he makes them a very, very good team.
Yeah, they're really good. Even they're a game up on us. They're tied with I think Lindenwood. But you look at their schedule coming down, we're at the halfway point, 11 games left. They have 8 out of 11 at home. So I think they're kind of in the driver's seat. They've had a lot of success on the road early. They played most of their road games in the first half of the season. So they've put themselves in position to kind of be the favorites. So, again, we got to focus on that Missouri Western game first. But I mean, Northwest obviously would be a big feather in our hat if we could find a way to win at third place.
Nope, that'll be on Saturday, but as Coach said, first things first, Thursday night in St. Joe against Missouri Western. As always, we appreciate the time. Have a great week of practice. We'll see you in St. Joseph on Thursday.
All right, thank you.
That's head coach Mark Johnson, the Fort Hays State Tigers, who again on the road this week, men's and women's doubleheaders. Of course, that big women's showdown, 5:30 on Thursday, battle for first place, followed by the men's game, and then Saturday afternoon, 1:30, 3:30 tips in Maryville. And, of course, you can hear them all on Tiger Radio Mix 103, beginning at 5:10 on Thursday night with the Auto World pregame show. Tiger Talk brought to you by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, the Taco Shop, G&L Tire, Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, Adams Brown, Barron and Ball, and Couture for men and women. And, of course, our title sponsor is the Golden Corral Buffet and Grill, where you can take advantage of their $2.99 take-home box with the purchase of a regular adult meal, their catering service, you name it, they've got it. It's the Golden Corral, just north of the interstate, open 7 days a week. Golden Corral, best buffet in the USA. For Coach Tony Hobson and Mark Johnson, this is Gerard Welbrock. So long, everyone.
At Eagle Communications, we deliver what matters to your business. Our services are fast, reliable, secure, and competitively priced, giving you more value for your hard-earned business dollar. With Eagle Communications, you're not just another number, you're part of our business family. And we deliver peace of mind with local technicians who provide dedicated system monitoring and support. Connect to something better. Call Eagle Communications, and let's talk about what matters to your business.
Thanks for watching Tiger Talk. If you missed any portion of it, you can always catch the audio replay from Tiger Radio Mix 103 or the video replay at HaysPost.com. We'll see you next time right here on Tiger Talk.